There's a new rumor making the rounds on the internet right now that Fallout 3, or even Fallout New Vegas, could be getting a remaster as soon as early February, supposedly lining up with the end of Fallout Season 2 on Amazon Prime. And if you've been around the Fallout community long enough like me, you already know how this all goes. A countdown appears on a website, a date gets circled, and suddenly everyone's convinced they'll be wandering the Capital Wasteland looking for their old dad in about 3 weeks. But today, I want to slow this down just a little bit. Now, I don't want to kill the hype, because I do think a Fallout 3 remaster is real and could even be closer than you might think, but not February. But I want to separate what actually makes sense from what people are really stretching to believe. And how might I know any of this, you ask? Well, I may have a source. We'll get to that soon enough. But before we get to that point, we need to take a step back to a document Bethesda probably wishes never saw the light of day years ago. Before Microsoft acquired ZeniMax, an internal Bethesda roadmap leaked online. I'm sure you've all seen this before, but this isn't some Reddit theory or fake, "my dad, Mr. Bethesda, left this on the counter" situation. This was a real internal planning document, and the most important thing to remember is that it was created before COVID. That really does matter, because COVID pushed everything back by years. Studios, pipelines, entire development schedules were completely reshuffled due to the pandemic. But what's interesting is that most of the roadmap has already proven to be accurate. Not perfectly on timing, but accurate in intent. Projects were delayed, not invented. For example, the roadmap showed an Oblivion remaster targeting the fiscal year 2022. As we now know, that didn't actually happen until 2025, a full 3-year delay, but it still happened. And that delay is the key to understanding what's going on with Fallout. Because on that same roadmap, 2 other things really stand out to people. One is a mysterious title labeled Project Platinum in fiscal year 2023. The other is a straight-up Fallout 3 remaster planned for 2024. Naturally, people saw Project Platinum and jumped on board saying, "Hey, Platinum chip, that's New Vegas, baby." And I get why people went there, but I don't think that interpretation really holds up. Chronologically, Bethesda has been working through its back catalog in release order. Oblivion came first, then would come Fallout 3, then would come New Vegas. It would be very Bethesda to remaster Fallout 3 before touching New Vegas, especially since Fallout 3 is fully first party and doesn't involve those extra complications that come with remastering New Vegas. Do I think New Vegas eventually gets a remaster? Absolutely. All 3 games were built on essentially the same engine, and once that pipeline exists to remaster something into Unreal 5 like that, it's really hard to imagine Bethesda not milking it dry. But if I had to guess, New Vegas is coming later, after Elder Scrolls 6 is out the door. And yes, before anyone asks, I have heard some things. Regarding the rumors, I'm not going to sit here and claim some deep insider document or pretend I've seen builds running on a secret Xbox somewhere. I haven't. But I will say this. I have spoken with someone connected to Bethesda Game Studios, and when I laid out this exact line of thinking, Fallout 3 remaster, New Vegas later, spacing releasing around Elder Scrolls 6, the response I got that my thinking was on the right path. Take that however you want. I'm not asking you to blindly trust me. I get it. I just want you to understand why I'm confident this isn't just some random speculation. Keep in mind, too, that this small channel of mine here had several finished videos drop on April 21st and 22nd, all for the Oblivion remaster, prior to its official release, beating out those huge channels you all know and love. So I may or may not know something I just don't want to share right now. Anyway, moving off the rumors, here's where the timing actually starts to matter. If Elder Scrolls 6 really is targeting 2027, which lines up with what multiple reports suggest, then it would make no sense to drop a Fallout 3 remaster in the same year. Bethesda does not cannibalize its own releases. Financially and strategically, it's far smarter to stagger them. One year, you release Fallout 3 Remastered. The next year, you dominate the industry with Elder Scrolls 6. Then, after the dust settles, you bring back the thing we all know and love, Fallout New Vegas. And if you really want to complete the cycle, you gotta start looking at Fallout 4, which, terrifyingly, We'll be pushing 15 to 20 years old by that point. Time really does come for us all, doesn't it? Let's go back to that February rumor, because this is where I think expectations really need to be managed. Do I think Fallout 3 is shadow dropping next month? No, I don't. The locked location, the countdown, all of that appears to be tied to Fallout Season 2, not a game announcement. And honestly, it wouldn't make much sense for Amazon to be the ones holding the keys to a Bethesda game reveal. If Fallout 3 Remastered were dropping in weeks, Bethesda wouldn't trust Amazon to keep it a secret. They like to keep things like that close to their chest. I think what actually is happening is much simpler and more Bethesda-like. The remaster exists. It's planned. It is on its way. But the timing people are currently latching onto right now is more about the show than the game. The hype is real, the date isn't. So, if you're hoping to be playing Fallout 3 Remastered by early February, I would lower those expectations. But if you're wondering whether it's coming at all, yeah, it's definitely coming. Bethesda remastering its legacy titles at this point feels less like a rumor and more like gravity. Oblivion proved there's demand. Fallout proved it has a massive audience still. And Microsoft loves a good, clean win and lots of money. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. And if you want deeper theory videos breaking down possible release windows, or guides so you're ready the moment it drops, whether that's this year or the next, let me know.